Good morning, everybody. I feel like it's been kind of a long time since I vlogged in my classroom, but we just started our Ancient India unit for my 6th grade history classes, and we're doing so much fun stuff, so I just thought that I would kind of like vlog a couple of days and just show you the types of things that we're doing. I really love this unit. I think that it's so interesting, and then it's really special at our school because we do have a lot of students who are from India or their families are from India or neighboring countries like Nepal or Sri Lanka. So it's really cool to involve them in everything that we do. So it is almost March right now. It's the end of February, and we purposely schedule out our units so that we do ancient China during Chinese New Year, and then we do ancient India during the Holi festival. And Holi festival this year is like March 9th and 10th. So we will be doing that as kind of like a, I was gonna say culminating activity, but maybe kind of like mid-unit activity. So for today, I just set up these stations. We're gonna do 3 stations today, and we'll actually do the other 3 stations on Monday. This is from Brainwaves instruction. I found it on Teachers Pay Teachers, but they're gonna be making these like lotus flowers that have different like layers of information on them. So this one is about the achievements of ancient India. This one is about religion, and then I have another one set up over here for geography. We do have open house next month, and it would be nice to have something like a little bit artistic to show. I don't always do like arts and craftsy type things, like we do that like once or twice a year, but I figure this is a good opportunity for it, and the information is actually really good. So we're gonna do that. We are also piloting some textbooks. These right here are the Discovery Education Social Studies textbooks, so that's where we're getting a lot of our information. They also have an online component, so we've been doing quite a bit online. I still don't know how I feel about the curriculum itself. It's good. I mean, I feel like I can make anything work, really, as long as I have a chance to get used to it, so it's fine. Yesterday, they also did some like vocabulary lessons and little quizzes on flocabulary. I'm obsessed with flocabulary. I use that for every unit. I think this song wasn't their favorite. It's the Round and Round song, but the information in it is good. So I just got a package in the mail, actually. We can open this up. I'm pretty sure I know what it is. These are our colored powders for Holi Festival. Okay, very cool. All right, so it looks like each box has kind of a rainbow of colors in it. Okay, that's good. Nice. Okay, so I will be showing you guys throughout this week and next week how we plan for Holi Festival, how we set it up. Obviously, it's easier for us at my school because we have students who can help us out with it a lot, and they understand the concept of Holi Festival. They have taught it. They have celebrated it with their families before, so we have an advantage in that way. Ooh, I just printed these. My favorite school supply is probably my color printer. I don't think I'm supposed to have it. I don't think everybody has one of those, but yeah, just keep that between you and me. Oh, another one of my favorite things for Ancient India are these posters up here. They've been sold out on Amazon forever. I'm so glad that I got them when I did, but they are part of this series. So this is Little Book of Hindu Deities by Sanjay Patel, and then those posters were from like a big book of Hindu deities. I have 3 copies of this book because I like everybody to get a chance to look at it. This was another one that I got last year. I'm gonna have to go through this one again, but it's also by Sanjay Patel. And then I have a bunch of books like from India. They're like Indian publishers about Indian history and deities and stuff. I think those are in a different cupboard. I'll have to find those. And then these 2 books are like picture books, but I will be using these. This one is a newer one. I haven't used this one yet, but it's a little alphabet book, and everything in there is culturally Indian. And then this one a lot of people love. This is Festival of Colors. And so this one is about the Holi Festival. So we've got a lot of fun stuff, and these just live here all the time because I love these posters. So then when we get to Ancient India, they actually like mean something. Everybody can kind of follow with what we're learning. And some kids just come in already knowing. Okay, well my prep period is almost over. I need to continue setting up these stations. Oh, and I need to do something with my 8th graders today. We're on Anne Frank. We went and saw the play of Anne Frank yesterday, which was wild. It was really good, but just a field trip with 300 people is always stressful to manage. So, needing all the coffee today.
Stop taking my arm! Really? I actually I'm gonna change this.
Hi guys, it is a Tuesday. We just finished, I think, like our second or third day of working on these lotus flower things. I don't know if I recommend it. I like the idea, I like the information. Right now, this is what my room looks like after we spent time cleaning up. So I do not like this part of it. It's a lot of work and a lot of paper. You end up with a lot of scraps. And we really don't do stuff like this very often where it's like a craftivity type of a thing. I mean, the information in these is really good. And I think it is cool that they're like learning to make a lotus flower, whatever, like that fits with the theme. But we have open house coming up at the end of the month. And so I just wanted to like have something for that. I thought this would be a little bit simpler than it is. So there may be a different way to do it where you just kind of like have everybody do station 1 on one day when you're like learning about the geography of India, and then everyone do religion on one day. I don't know, like moving around, not everybody works at the same pace. Not everyone is able to get things done fast enough. And then some people are bored, whatever. But these are the different categories that they do with their flower petals. So you will recognize that it says grapes right there. So that's how a lot of people do ancient civilizations. Like they cover each of those categories. And then the vocabulary is the little leaves behind the lotus flowers. So yeah, this is our ancient India lotus flower, and that's how you write lotus in Hindi, at least I think it is. A few people have started to finish, so this is what it looks like when they're done. They're kind of supposed to like turn it like that, has all their information. We're gonna do a little quiz with these tomorrow. I was just setting up my daily agenda for tomorrow, so it's gonna be an open flower quiz. Here's today's agenda, so open flower quiz tomorrow. So the kids that finished, I was just holding on to them for them tomorrow. Some kids haven't finished at all. Another thing that they did on Friday, because I wasn't here, I was at CCSS, which is a history conference, just learning more about history, was the Nearpod lesson where they learn about the Holi festival. That was the first lesson from Nearpod I've ever used, actually. I used it last year and I was really impressed. So I have some Nearpod links and I have like a list of lessons that I suggest, so I will link that down below. So they learned about Holi Festival, and then we are going to be celebrating Holi Festival together next week. We have some kids who are volunteering to help us with our Holi Festival. I sent these home to ask parents if they can come help us, and I haven't got any back yet, so hopefully I will. This is less than a week away. And then I just sent home a letter explaining that your child will be colorful and we need parent volunteers. Obviously it's optional if a kid doesn't want to get all dirty, but it's very fun. So yeah, that's what we're up to at the moment, and now I need to clean.
About where this could be going?
Hi. It's the wildness. Not enough sugar. You want to get?
Give us better.
No taste. Not enough sugar. I don't know who she is, but she requested to follow.
All right, who has one to put up? You have one to put up? Okay, let's make yours the first one. Okay, I think we're good. Yes. So if you go like this and just like fold each of these up, then it'll make it more like 3D. Ooh, lovely. All right. Hi guys, it's Wednesday. I just wanted to show you what we did today, and actually I am preparing for some sub plans for tomorrow. We have a really short day tomorrow and I'm gonna have a sub, so I'm just having them watch 2 videos, and I'm not really sure how I'm gonna connect these yet, but I feel like there's something in here. They're only in class for like 20 minutes, so this is what they're gonna do. They're watching one video called The Magic of Vedic Math. A lot of my kids really like math, like that's their favorite subject, which is different from how I was as a kid. I don't totally understand it, but I'm gonna see if they can get some meaning from this. And then they're also gonna be watching a video, whoops, got an ad here. They're also gonna be watching this video about Mohenjo-daro, and these ancient cities in India were like so well laid out. Like they're very evenly split and everything. So they're gonna watch those 2 videos tomorrow, and then I actually sent those videos to the 6th grade math teachers just to start brainstorming, like maybe there's some ideas on what we could collaborate on next year when we're on this ancient India unit, because you know, 0 was invented in India and they have a lot of ancient math wisdom that I don't have, but maybe there's something cool that we could do together. So anyway, we also finished quite a few of our lotus flowers. Let me show you how this is going. Here's where I'm at right now. I had to make our pond a little bit bigger, add a little bit more blue paper. So I've got a few more that I'm gonna put up. I just laid out the rest of the stations that I had here for anybody who needed them. And then I'm gonna put a little like description down here of what this is. So we just made a little lotus pond. So yeah, I think these ended up looking very cute. I love how they're like 3D if you just fold the petals a little bit. So yeah, I made sure they did a little bit of a better job cleaning up today, but of course you always have like this kid. I added a couple other things I thought that I would just show you. I like to have a little bit of an explanation of what's going on a bulletin board whenever I do them. So in case somebody didn't know that these were lotus flowers, I'm gonna have it say Ancient India lotus flowers. Right there in that little space, I'm going to try to print out the Hindi version of Kamala or lotus. So I'll see if I can get that up there. And then these are the things that we looked at. And again, this is like the grapes thing. So geography, religion, achievements, politics, economy, and society. And in case you're wondering how I like print those out, how I print anything out, I just kind of do it all the same way. I usually use Lucid Press just because I'm familiar with it, so it's easy for me. This font is KG, sorry not sorry. And then this one is, let's see if it'll tell me, KG, always a good time. And so I just kind of print them out in separate pages so that I can make it nice and big. Or these ones I didn't need to have them as big. But all I really ever do is just type words into Lucid Press and then print it out on cardstock and put it on my board. So all together, looks like that. YouTuber life. Okay, today is the day of the Holi festival, and I realize I haven't even really explained it yet, but it is also known as the Festival of Colors or the Festival of Lights. Or not Festival of Love, I mean. It started as like a Hindu tradition, but now it's just more of like a cultural tradition that like everybody does. But one of the cool things about it is that like everybody ends up covered in color, and so you all just kind of look the same. So it's kind of like it's kind of a message of like equality and unity, so it's very cool. Anything else you guys want to say about Holi Festival?
It's awesome with a lot of colors. It's really fun with a bunch of people throwing colors at each other.
Like 6th graders?
Yeah. And naughty people. Mostly adults have a lot of fun with this.
Gets a little wild.
Yeah. You covered in colors, and you usually wear like a white shirt on that day, so like it's like
tie-dye,
like your head to toe like
party
colors. Yeah. Yes.
Get it in your hair.
It's one of the best holidays ever. celebrations.
Yeah, we're doing it today.
Yeah.
All the 6th graders. I'm excited. Is this them? Nope, these are 8th graders. You guys, come on in. Oh, come on in, guys. You have stuff? Do you need
to put the stuff
Okay. All right. These are some of our volunteers who are going to be dancing.
With the bowing yet?
Yeah. We're just pretending it didn't. Oh yeah. If you want any nail polish, go for it.
That was the video.
Yes. Okay.
Let's go, people. Okay, let's go. Wait. I like this.
We're also making some signs. We're just gonna hold them up to let people in pictures know what we're doing. We kind of based it off of this book too. So we've just been kind of having a wild day. Testing. There we go. All right. Hello, 6th grade class. How are you doing? Are you ready to party? All right. Before we go outside and do our final celebration of the day, we have a couple of presentations for you. So first of all, how many people know what Holi Festival is? Raise your hand. What can you tell me so far about Holi Festival? Let's see, who's brave? Who's brave? How about Shrihars? It's about the god Vishnu. What can you tell me, Adam? Spreading love and joy. How about one more? We celebrate with a lot of colors. Okay, so we have 2 experts on the Holi Festival who are going to come up and tell you a little bit more that you might not have known. Watch the cords there and come on up.
Happy Holi, everybody. So Holi is an Indian festival of color and the triumph of good over evil. It mainly celebrates the fact that everybody in this world is evil.
Avatar Vishnu, and it also celebrates the devotion of a young demon named young demon Prahlada, and the devotion to Lord Vishnu, and the death is the demon Holika, which is where the name Holi originates, as you can see.
squished in. Can we hold the signs up? Green sign. Hold up your sign. There we go. All right. I'm going to take your picture real quick and then we're going to throw our powder. So squeeze in nice and tight. All right. Are we ready? Let's see. All right. 1, 2, 3, throw! did it. I was actually planning on getting into all the powder and getting nice and dirty, but I was getting some footage, so I was out of the fray, I guess. But it was so much fun. The assembly was great. The kids really did everything for the assembly. The dancers were awesome. Some of the girls taught their friends some routines, and they like made up new choreography just for this. And then parents came to help us pour the powder in the little cups and then hand those out and kind of just like keep the kids contained. And it seemed like the parents were really, really happy that we did this celebration that they normally just kind of like celebrate, you know, as a family or as a community, but to do it at school was pretty fun. So I think this is definitely something you can replicate as long as you don't mind getting a little bit dirty. We had a blast, and I just think it's a really cool way to like affirm our Indian community here and show that we appreciate this holiday, and then to just expose other kids to it as well that haven't celebrated it before, and then just to kind of bring our curriculum alive a little bit. So we are studying Hinduism. We're gonna get a little bit more into that tomorrow. So this is a real life celebration rooted in some of those beliefs, and so just to like get to see how that all plays out is really fun. All right, I'm going to check in with you tomorrow. We're going to be moving on to Buddhism and Hinduism. All right, we're continuing on with our study of India today. I'll show you some of the things that we did in class. This is our daily Google slide. So we just took Hinduism notes basically. We started Hinduism yesterday, and so we had just celebrated the Holi festival, and this kind of like give some explanation for some of the things that we celebrated. So today we took notes with these doodle notes. I think these are by History Gal, and so they were double-sided. Here we labeled each of these different gods. So these notes like come with some slides, like a PowerPoint slide, but then we added to that. So over here, whenever we studied one god, then I would also show them, like Shiva, for example, this picture, and then read to them a longer story about each of the gods. And then a lot of my students know a lot about the Hindu gods already, so then they told us a little bit more about like Brahma, for example. So all of these gods have so many just stories behind them, tons of backstories, tons of intertwining stories. So at each table I had one of these books today. So a lot of students just like chimed in with a bunch of other stories about Hindu gods. So that's really fun to hear from them. I guess it's like if I were sitting in my 6th grade class and my teacher was teaching me all about these like Bible characters, I would be able to like raise my hand and fill in a bunch of extra details, probably just from like hearing those stories my whole life. So that's what it's like for them. So we've got some other books here. I think I've shown you guys all of these already, but I was just displaying these today. So these are the ones the kids were looking at. This is one I just need to read for myself, actually. It seems really, really detailed. We're gonna read this one in circles tomorrow. We just kind of used this one as inspiration for Holi Festival, and then this was actually for my 8th graders. We looked at this one today. So it's still cool to have these really like vibrant, well-written picture books even in middle school. And yesterday, part of our introduction to Hinduism was we looked at the Pixar short film Sanjay's Super Team. So Sanjay Patel is the artist who did those little Hindu deity books. He did the Hindu deity posters that I have on my wall. This doesn't need to be on anymore. And so he worked for Pixar, and he did this really cool short film that doesn't have any dialogue, you know, like all of the Pixar short films, called Sanjay's Super Team. I imagine that it's on Google Plus now, or not Google Plus, Disney Plus. I found it on Vimeo, but it's really cool, and it's just like another way for students to understand Hinduism and like Hindu gods if it's like a very foreign concept to them. But almost every culture, you know, comes up with these stories about beings that have superpowers, and they're able to control things or like protect humans, or maybe they're the enemy of humans. So we have all kinds of superhero stories like that, and you could have that discussion with your kids and talk about the different like powers and weaknesses and interconnections between superheroes, and then relate that to the Hindu gods. And I mean, every single civilization that was polytheistic, that's basically everybody besides the Hebrews. So it was a fun thing to learn about today. And you really do need to begin with Hinduism. You have to start with Hinduism and do that before you go into Buddhism. And probably Friday we'll get into Buddhism, but that comes out of Hinduism, and then Buddhism really spreads more to the north, like China, Asia, Korea. That's generally where you think of Buddhism today. It doesn't really exist in India, or at least not nearly as much as it did during ancient India, but we have a like DBQ thing that we do from, I can't remember if it's from the Stanford Sheg curriculum or if it's from our mini Qs, our mini DBQs, but there's one about Ashoka. Was he a ruthless conqueror or an enlightened leader? I think that's what it is. So we learn all about Ashoka and his like conversion to Buddhism and how he spread Buddhism. So that helps us to understand kind of the process of like India going from a Hindu country mostly to Buddhist, and then kind of back to Hinduism because it made more sense for their government, and we can get into all that later. And then the other thing too is that as we're reading some of this stuff, like there are a lot of people in India today who are also Muslim, and I always have to remind my students, like when we do ancient history, we are doing the negative number line. So we are like year 0 and before. So Islam is not invented, like Muhammad is not born until after year 0. Christianity does not happen till after year 0. So we really don't talk about Christianity or Islam because they are not a thing yet. We are on the negative number line. We do Buddhism, Hinduism, etc. And then in 7th grade in California, that's when you basically start from year 0. I tell them you get to do the positive number line, start there, and then you'll learn more about those things. So we do have to keep in mind that like we are studying a specific time. So later on, you'll look at India again, and they're gonna look at China again, they're gonna look at Japan, but during a different time. And so, you know, when we're covering all these thousands of years, it's hard to place all of that in your head, but that's what we're doing. Okay, I have so much grading to do. I need to get on it. The quarter is ending this week, so all of my grades are due. So I'm gonna do that, and I will talk to you later about Buddhism. All right, so I am in my classroom briefly just to submit quarter 3 grades and grab anything that I need to lesson plan from home. They just gave us a little window today when we could come in and grab what we needed. Also, I had this huge stash of top ramen in my classroom. Oh, and some sugar, which I can't find anywhere else. So I figured I would come in today and just grab these things, make sure my quarter 3 grades were in, and then just, I don't know, grab anything that I need. So clearly we are not finishing ancient India in a normal way. In case someone is watching this video from the future or something and you don't know what's going on right now, there is a COVID-19 pandemic happening, and schools all over the country and all over the world are closing down. As of right now, we are going to be closed for 2 weeks, and I mean, just everything is kind of up in the air. You're not even sure how things will change from day to day. If you watch the news all day long, there's just like constant updates. So it's really stressful. I hate this. This is not a fun thing to go through. I would just rather things be normal and be at school. But I am trying to keep lessons kind of normal-ish for my students. So I've been using a lot of vocabulary, Newsella, Common Lit, Nearpod. I'm just pushing things out to them. So for my 6th graders who are still studying ancient India, yesterday I had them do, actually it was the Week in Rap vocabulary lesson, and then tomorrow they're gonna do a Nearpod lesson that compares Hinduism and Buddhism. And then you know what I'm gonna do for like next week is I'm gonna have them do a DBQ about Ashoka, because I really like that DBQ, and I think I could teach it via video. I think we can do this. They can just do it on Google Classroom. I think we'll be okay, and it'll take quite a few days. So I'm just gonna like make a video, I think, and I can put it on this channel I guess that would be fine. Just kind of like walking them through how to do that DBQ. So yeah, we're gonna try to proceed as normally as we possibly can. I guess technically we don't know exactly how long we'll be out, but if we're out any longer, then I'm gonna have to go into the ancient Greece chapter. And there's so much information out there for ancient Greece, so I feel like that would actually be even a little bit easier than ancient India. So yeah, we're just kind of making sure we have the basics of Hinduism and Buddhism, and then we'll do the Ashoka DBQ. And they really learn a lot of cool things about government and the spread of religious ideas and all of that in ancient India under Ashoka. So yeah, I think that one will be good. And that's kind of how we end the unit anyway, I guess. This is only my 3rd year of teaching ancient history, so I don't know, anytime I say like usually, I guess I just mean twice. Everything's still kind of changing as I go. We were supposed to start a new curriculum. We were supposed to start the National Geographic textbook pilot like next week, I guess. Maybe I'll just take one of the textbooks home and then take pictures of it and like put that up on Google Classroom, because I don't know if they're gonna have the online access that they were supposed to have, and if they have any trouble logging on at home, I won't really be able to help them. So we are very, very fortunate. Like, I'm so glad that we have been using online platforms all year long. My daily slides are coming in really handy. They can like still see what we're doing every day there. Google Classroom is very handy. I can just organize everything there. I have like a new folder for remote learning, I'm calling it, just so that they know that everything in that folder is optional. I'm not grading them on any of it. We can't like penalize kids who aren't able to get the work done, especially if they're supposed to have some kind of services like an aid or any other kind of services that they are supposed to have access to, and they don't have it right now. We can't hold them accountable if they're not able to do the work. And you know, there are plenty of kids who just don't have devices or Wi-Fi or whatever. Our kids all have a school issued Chromebook, which I feel like every kid should have. And then I don't really know how this works, but somehow at the beginning of the year they found out who doesn't have access to Wi-Fi, and they were able to give that to them. Or maybe it was like through the city or something. Like, I know the city of Riverside just has like city Wi-Fi that anybody can access. And I think that should be available everywhere, because things like this can happen. And then even just like an individual kid could be at home sick and want to access schoolwork or whatever, and they should be able to do that. So this is really showing us like what parts of our infrastructure work and then where all of the holes are. So school-wise, it's really nice if your kids already have devices and Wi-Fi and they're used to, you know, accessing things online and responding online. When my kids do the DBQ and we get to the end of it and they have to like, you know, make their decision about whether Ashoka was a ruthless conqueror or an enlightened ruler, I'll have them do that on Flipgrid. I have a feeling they might be getting like a little bit Flipgridded out right now. I don't know if like all the teachers are having them do Flipgrid, so I'm just gonna kind of like wait on mine and have them do it at the end of that lesson. So yeah, there are so many great online resources as long as they can access them. Yeah, so yeah, this is just a very like weird and frustrating time. I'm not so much concerned about the lessons, like they'll be okay. They're still learning, they're still, you know, gaining new information all the time. I'm sure even from like the news, like they're learning a ton about science. I'm learning a ton about science every day as we go, in politics and communication and foreign affairs, and yeah, it's just in general, this is a time when everybody's learning is increasing, and you're even working on practical skills of cooking and rationing and organizing and planning and making sure that you have enough stuff. We drove past Trader Joe's today, and there's a line out the door and around the corner just to get in to Trader Joe's. So I mean, it's not like everybody's just sitting on their couch doing absolutely nothing. Like, people are putting into practice skills and, you know, learning new things. I'm sure kids are doing the same, and if not, and they get a little break, whatever. I don't remember where I was going with that, but oh yeah. I'm less worried about everybody, you know, staying exactly on pace with their curriculum like they were supposed to, and I'm a little more worried about just like, you know, the breakdown of civilization and society and civility and treating people kindly, but I have seen a lot of examples of people taking care of each other and looking out for each other and being responsible, and I'm really glad to see that. So this vlog ended way differently than I expected it to. This is not how I wanted to show you how we do ancient India, but I hope that the beginning was helpful, and maybe that's something that you can use next year when hopefully everything is all back to normal. And then yeah, I think I'll put the Ashoka DBQ direction stuff on this channel as well, and then you can use that if you ever want to. So yeah, I'm about to get kicked out of this place. It's time for me to go. I'm like really sad about leaving. I love it in my classroom. I like my job, I like my students, and I don't want to stay home, but yeah, I guess I'll go watch some Netflix and plan some lessons and like clean my apartment. That's something that would definitely be a productive use of my time. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for being here, and I will see you later. Bye.